In this video, we will discuss orbiting your 3D model. If you'd like to follow along with the video, please open the file orbitingyour3dmodel.dwg located in the Working Files folder as discussed in the Working with this dataset video. Orbiting your viewpoint around your model allows you to see different aspects and details of your design. With the orbit commands, you can freely rotate or constrain your rotation of your view around your model. If you have no geometry selected at the start of the command pivots the view about the center point of a bounding box of all the geometry. For instance, let's go ahead and talk about the easiest way to orbit your model, and that is using the 3D Orbit tool. To quickly access the 3D Orbit tool, simply hold down the Shift key on the keyboard, hold the middle mouse button down, and simply move your mouse up or down or left and right to 3D orbit your design. Notice that as I orbit, I cannot go down past the top view. Same thing if I go underneath, I can't go past the bottom view. This is the 3D Orbit tool. The other orbit tools are located in the View tab, Navigate panel, and then we have the Orbit drop-downs. So the one I just showed you was the Orbit tool. You can access it from here as well. Then we have the Free Orbit tool and the Continuous Orbit tool. Before we show the other tools, let's go ahead and select an object. So I will go ahead and select a specific object, like let's say I'll select this fridge. Now I will hold the Shift key down on the keyboard, hold the middle mouse button down and move, and notice how it only shows you that object as you orbit. This functionality is very useful, especially when you have a congested design and you want to see an individual object and how it looks. As soon as you release the mouse button, it brings it back and shows you the entire design. To clear your selection set, press Escape. Let's go ahead and look at the Free Orbit tool. We'll go to the Navigate panel, Orbit dropdown, and select Free Orbit. The Free Orbit tool has different hotspots that you can use to orbit your design. So you see this big ball or circle, and you see these little circles on each quadrant of the big circle. If I select inside and just left click, so I'm not holding down any keys on the keyboard, I can do a free orbit. Notice how it automatically goes all the way around the design, allowing you to orbit the entire drawing. If I select any of the hotspots around the quadrants of the circle, it'll limit the viewing or rotation in that axis. If I select the right or left ones, it'll just go right or left. So again, inside the circle, you can freely orbit. You pick any of the axes and you constrain the orbit. You can also go outside the circle, and if you go outside the circle, that'll actually just rotate it around the orientation that you're at. To exit this tool, simply press Escape. You also can right-click while on this tool and enable some of the other settings as well. Again, this does also work if you select an individual object. So I can actually use this tool very nicely to select an individual object and even zoom in and use the other tools to see a specific object and how it looks at the different orientations of the design. Again, simply press Escape to end the command and then press Escape again to clear your selection set. The last orbiting tool is the Continuous Orbit tool. For this tool, you simply click in the drawing, left click, and then move your mouse in the general direction of where you want to freely orbit your design. Notice how it continuously orbits the design. While it's still orbiting, you can actually change it by just pushing in the general direction as well. What's great about this tool is that I can actually just quickly picking and moving around slowly to make it go as slow or as fast as possible. I can also zoom in at the same exact time, and I can even pan and it'll continuously orbit. So this is a really great tool as well, as it allows you to see your design from all the different orientations. Again, by simply left clicking and dragging your mouse. If you go really fast, be careful, it'll go really fast and spin in a very fast circle. Again, to stop this, simply click and drag your mouse slowly to make it go as slow as you want it to go to orbit your design. You can right-click to access some additional settings. Again, if I do a zoom extents, it still continuously orbits. Press Escape to end the command. And again, don't forget, you can select additional objects and run that command. And notice how it limits the view of the drawing to those specific objects. I'll just left-click and drag to rotate the view. And again, don't forget, you can, of course, zoom in at the same exact time. It's just a really great little tool to see your design in any orientation that you need to. Don't forget to get your view back to the standard orientation. Simply use the view cube to navigate to the different orientations that you want to.